learn to deal with the valley. The hills are kept the same. But don't you know you got wild blood running through your veins? You're the leader of the wolf pack with the power of flame. Don't you know you got wild blood running through your wild blood running through your veins.
You don't know what you're missing. Those words echoed in my mind for years when friends would come back from Texas, and that's what they would tell me. And the words they used to describe Texas were target-rich environment, sportsman's dream. I mean, the nicknames go on and on. But in 2018, I was lucky enough to head down there and hunt with my buddies Keith and Steve Miller with Texas Trophy Whitetails, and I came up with my own terminology. It is a redneck paradise. And I tell you, everybody knows about the Texas whitetails, Rio Grande turkeys, and even the hogs are making a name for themselves. But I think one of the most well-kept secrets in the hunting community is the exotics that are available in Texas. I mean, in the spring, we're chasing turkeys, getting ready for fishing season, but in Texas, they're still hunting big game. And we're talking axis deer, cyca deer, fallow deer, goats, rams, sheep of all kinds. They're still hunting hogs, a lot of the African game, free range in Texas. I mean, it truly is a redneck paradise. And the best part is, as an out-of-state hunter, you can get a 5-day exotic license for less than $50. What more could you ask for? Well, in the spring of 2018, when I was down there, I killed my first axis buck, and I was also able to take a black buck antelope, and just had an absolute blast with these guys. And in the spring of 2021, they invited me back. I went down and shot another axis deer with a rifle, took a Rio Grande turkey, and of course a pig. But the biggest thing to come out of that trip was Steve just kept busting on me and telling me, you've run out of excuses for not coming down here and hunting whitetails in the fall. And he was 100% correct. And after a little bit of planning, I made the decision that I was heading down there to hunt the opening weekend of archery in Texas, which was the first weekend of October. I knew it was going to be hot, but I also knew that these were going to be undisturbed whitetails, and it was time to pack my bags and get ready to go. That trip could not get here quick enough. And I'll tell you, when I landed in San Angelo and made that short trip to Sonora, Texas with the rental car, my anticipation was through the roof. I couldn't wait to get to the stand. But the other thing that's kind of exciting is getting to the ranch house. They spare no creature comfort in this place. I mean, it's a gorgeous home, private bedrooms, private baths. They feed you like a king. You've got satellite TV. Even though you're there to hunt, it is nice to come back at night, eat dinner, and relax for a little bit. And all of those things are right there at your fingertips as you're getting prepared for the hunt of a lifetime with Texas Trophy Whitetails. Well, the first order of business when you get into camp is always to shoot your bow, especially if you're flying, because you just can't trust them to be nice to your gear. And I was able to get out, fling a few arrows with the VXR. The bow was on, and it was time to head out and start hunting. The first hunt of the year is always exciting. It's the first time you've been in the stand in a long time. If you've been doing your homework, you know the kind of critters that are in the area. And on this particular spot, we were hunting in the morning. Steve had trail cam pictures of a 14 point that just had splits everywhere. Unfortunately, he'd gone nocturnal in the last week and a half before we got there. But we still thought, it's the first morning we're going to take a shot. And while he never showed up, we did get a constant parade of whitetail and axis deer that kept us entertained all morning, including one whitetail that, really in the last day of the hunt, if he'd have shown himself, I might have had to take him. Well, with that morning hunt in the books, Steve and I started to plan for the afternoon hunt, and he had a particular buck that he had in mind. It was a mainframe 9-point with a turkey foot on its left G2. And it was a wide buck with good mass, and he was mature. And he felt pretty confident that we could get a crack at that deer that night. So I got settled into the blind, and again, anticipation is always through the roof. And I got settled in, and Steve was not even gone 45 minutes, and I could hear the hooves on the rocks. And the first buck that came in, I wasn't sure if it was the target buck, but it was becoming a target buck real quick. My first Texas whitetail. Texas trophy whitetails in Sonora, Texas. I cannot wait to call Steve. I mean, that buck came in. We had a target buck we were looking at. I don't think that was him. That was a good buck. And the shot looked right behind the shoulder. And I'm sorry, I couldn't do interviews before, but it is so tight in here. Oh my God, that was an awesome hunt. That was just a cool hunt. It's about 7:05. He was the fourth deer to come in. And I don't know what to say. I've been hunting with Keith and Steve Miller for 16, 17 years. In Montana and here, and I've killed axis deer here, black buck, turkey, and this was my first opportunity to hunt whitetail. And I think I got it done. That shot looked good. I didn't get a pass through, but I think I might have got it behind the close shoulder, the foreshoulder, and bounced it off the back shoulder, but we're gonna find out. That's my first kill with the Mathews VXR. Alright, it's October the 2nd, Saturday. Opening day, archery. We're in Sonora, Texas. Texas trophy whitetails. Steve just got here. I got an arrow in that buck probably 45 minutes ago. And came down and checked. The arrow's still in him. Not a lot of blood. But I saw where he ran, so we're just going to kind of head over there slowly and see if we can find him. Let's head over. He's standing right over here. He's only walking underneath this tree. A little worrisome when you don't get a lot of blood, but the arrow was still in him. I really think I got into that opposite shoulder. But we reviewed the footage and he did come up this way. You can see his tracks where he's tearing into the ground. I can see it already, Steve.
Can you?
Yeah, I see the white belly. Sitting right up there in that clearing. First Texas whitetail. Let's go find him. Let's go get him. We found him already. You can see that blue nocturnal lit up. Man, he didn't go 75 yards from the phone head cap. Look at that buck.
That's him.
Yeah, that's the buck we came in here after. Look at that buck, Steve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. He's an 11 point. Got a little turkey foot up on there in the G2. Look at that. That's the buck we came in here after. So we're gonna, it's a little warm. So we're gonna get him cleaned up, get some pictures taken, get him back to camp and celebrate. And now we're on doe patrol.
Good job, John.
Thanks, bud. Another memory, Steve. I mean, how many firsts in my hunting career have you been a part of?
A few.
Elk, antelope, mule deer,
Axis.
Well, that hunt in the books, it's just another memory that I'm sharing with Steve. You know, I've known Keith and Steve probably for going on 20 years. I've hunted with them in Montana 13 or 14 times at their place, Montana Whitetails, and this is my third trip to Texas to hunt with Texas Trophy Whitetails. And, you know, as much as I love the memories that I've created chasing the critters that I have, I'm extremely fortunate to have hunted the places I have. The thing that's starting to become even more important is the relationships that you build. And, you know, having spent as much time as I have with Keith and Steve, I'm here to tell you that they are as hardworking and genuine a couple of guys as you're ever going to meet. And their attention to detail has made a lot of happy hunters over the years. And, you know, in addition to the fact that it's just a ton of fun to hang out with them, these guys just manage to get you on the animals, and it doesn't matter if it's Montana or Texas. They work their tails off. And so when, you know, they were filling me in that they had a doe quota that they needed to take, you know, redneck from Western New York shooting does, yeah, sign me up, let's do it. Cactus in my mouth. We hit this buck, or this buck, we hit this doe. I wish it was another buck. But we hit this doe, 8 o'clock or so, and the hit looked a little far back. So we We just backed out. We checked the arrow, looked like liver blood. So we backed out, went and sat in the truck for a little while. And so for an hour, I laid my wisdom on everything in life to Steve, so he's a much better person for it. Actually, we took a nap. We got on the blood right at the shot, but you know, like a liver shot is, it's just sporadic blood. You know, the liver's not an organ that pumps blood, so she's going to bleed. And it's just been slow tracking. I mean, one drop of blood at a time, one drop of blood at a time. And so she's just now got into the stick stuff, so I'm kind of hoping she's coming in here to bed down, but we're still going to take it slow, so. There's a little bit more in that rock. So it kind of looks like she stood here. And they told me tracking in Texas was tough because this dirt just soaks up the blood. So we're kind of looking for blood on rocks, grass, all up in the weeds. Oh my God. She must have climbed right inside there. There she is. My first Texas doe. Tuck yourself right up underneath this plant. And that's why marginal hit, which a liver shot is a marginal hit. You're better off just to let him go. Don't push him. And thanks to Steve, that's what he suggested we do. We backed out for an hour and 15 minutes, came back. And really, she's not more than 100, 120 yards behind the blind we were in. So let's get her pulled out, get her field dressed, and then we're gonna donate the meat. Texas Trophy Whitetails, hunt number 2. Well, there she is. It's my first Texas whitetail doe. Texas Trophy Whitetails. We're hunting in Sutton County, Sonora, Texas. And they're just covered up in deer. And they've got great bucks, great whitetail bucks, Sika bucks, axis bucks, hogs, turkeys. I mean, it really is. It's a redneck paradise. And this is my third trip down here. I've taken a couple of Sika, or a couple of axis deer, taken a turkey, black buck antelope, and then this was my first whitetail trip. And on the first night, I took a great 11 point, and then we came out this morning to see if we could help them with some of their doe management plans, and got this doe at 20 yards, and here she is. It's a fantastic hunt, unbelievable lodging, the meals are great, the people are fantastic. You don't know what you're missing if you have not been with Texas Trophy Whitetails. So we're going to get her field dressed, going to donate the meat, and I'm flying back to New York tomorrow to start hunting there. Well, so ended a great couple of days hunting with Steve and Keith down at Texas Trophy Whitetails in Sonora, Texas. You know, you always create a ton of memories. You always have a ton of fun. And it's not just the hunting. I mean, just seeing all of the critters that are roaming free in Texas is just a treat, and just to be able to sit and watch them, interact with them a little bit, whether you're calling turkeys or even calling cyca deer. It's just a ton of fun. It's a relaxing hunt. They work hard to put you on the animals. They know where to take you. And it really is worth your while. And make no mistake, I'll be hunting with them in both places for years and years to come.